All right, we're here with another Celtics draft scouting video. Today we're looking at UNC wing Drake Powell. Uh, he's mocked late first, maybe actually late lottery, really. Too late first, I should say, in most mock drafts. Kevin O'Connor of Yahoo has him on his big board ranked at 16th, comping him to Mikal Bridges and Isaac Okoro. I'll share my screen here so you guys can take a look at what I'm looking at. I've seen some mocks where he falls into the Celtics range at 28. I've seen some where he goes, like I said, late lottery. I mean, like I said, KOC ranks him at 16. Crafty finisher, team defender. I didn't put up monster stats at UNC. Was primarily a role player. Didn't really play heavy minutes. I'm not saying he is like Devin Booker, but think of the Devin Booker type where it's like he was a six-man. He came off the bench. I think Drake Powell started, but he wasn't like the primary focal point of the offense. He's like the Devin Bookers and Patrick Williams and Scotty Barnes of the world, like a player who's not necessarily the star, but he's got the measurables: 6'6", roughly 7 foot wingspan. He's a lanky defender. He's a pretty good finisher, a decent enough shooter, and we'll take a look at him today.
Yeah, I know you were pumped up about him when you did the Houdini preview for him, so I can't wait to get my first real look into him, learning along with the rest of the viewers, but you know, the archetype makes a lot of sense for filling a role with the Celtics, and said it in their Fleming videos, said it in previous videos. I just get excited about these guys that are role players in college because I just think when you come to Boston with the way things are set up right now, that's what they're going to ask you to do. And if you're prepared to do it and you're willing to put like yourself second behind the team, that is a bonus in being a Celtic.
Yeah, he's a great defender, no ceilings. Says the goods are lockdown defender, prepare for liftoff, and relentless motor. He's a very athletic player. His pros are defense versatility, physical tools, and play finishing. Cons are his aggressiveness, on-ball creation, and shooting. His three-point percentage is pretty good, but he's not the best three-point shooter overall, so that's where some of the concerns come in. We can take a look at the highlights, though, and see what we think. Go from there. I don't hate Drake Powell. I don't love Drake Powell. I think he'd be a pretty good Celtics target. He's only 19, so he's coming into the league pretty young as well. But
sounds like another guy now.
Let's take a look. His free throw percentage, for context, was only 64.8%. So that's where some of the shooting worries come in.
Let's see what I think of the form. Nice move off the dribble. Quick to the rim.
The shot form's a little clunky. I mean, we haven't seen it yet. He when I watched him, he looked much more comfortable getting to the mid-range and shooting than shooting threes, which is maybe a concern. But he is comfortable getting downhill.
Man, that first step is nasty.
No one he is a consistent thing you'll see is he never puts his arms down. Like if he's going to finish at the rim, his arms stay like as vertical as possible. Like he keeps the ball all the way as possible above his heads every time.
Good fundamentals. He kind of has like a Bridges type looking shot to me. Not so much on the catch and shoot, but off the dribble a little bit.
The mid-range shot is so different than his three-point shot. His three-point shot's very rigid. He shoots differently from each spot. He it's just kind of awkward.
So, as somebody who for a long time felt like he had a mid-range and three-point shot variance in terms of my form, I can tell you, not a good thing. I was not confident in my three-point shot when I was changing the way I would shoot it.
It works for some people, right? Like Devin Booker has a different mid-range than his three-point shot. Like some players do have it differently, but you can just tell how much more comfortable Drake Powell is scoring inside than he is from the outside, which maybe is a concern. I don't know. I don't know what I think about Drake Powell. I think the defense is obviously there. He's a pretty good playmaker. It's the shot that worries you, right? And the fact that he wasn't a high volume player at North Carolina. Like Rasheer Fleming, you talk about role players. He was a role player, but he averaged like 13, 8, and 2 in a stock and a half or a block and a half and a steal and a half. Drake Powell averaged 7 points and 3 rebounds and 1 assist and less than a block and less than a steal. So it was like he didn't really have the stats of a role player as much as maybe you would like for these role player type guys. He's not bad. I still think he could be pretty good. It's just the 3-point shot is concerning.
Yeah, I don't love what I'm seeing form-wise. Fleming's form is a lot more encouraging. It's smoother. It looks super cool to watch. The arc on Powell's shots. Doesn't look bad, though. I will say that. He's got a good form to it. I think he has good athleticism and a good burst to the rim. But you might be able to talk yourself into that kind of thing with Jordan Walsh, too. Like, oh, man, looks pretty good when he drives to the basket. He can dunk sometimes. He's long and probably has the right physical tools to be a good defender. If the Celtics were to draft Drake Powell, I just feel like it would be kind of redundant with Walsh. And also, Shireman being ahead of him. Like, I really only think a wing would make sense if you feel like they truly give you a different look than those guys, or they are better than those guys. And I don't know if that's the case here.
Well, I think Drake Powell would be a more intriguing target than Jordan Walsh. I think there's much more of an offensive game there. Like, Jordan Walsh isn't creating like this. He was never doing that. Like, you can see the flashes of creation for Drake Powell. Like, I do think there's a world in the right situation if Powell has the room to grow where he turns into like a really, really good player with his shot creation and everything. I just don't know. That's what he'll have the opportunity to do in Boston. So I think that's where some of the concern is. We can look at the playmaking, though, as well. We've looked at all these scoring. We can check that out. From what I remember, he was a pretty good playmaker. Like, he was a pretty aware passer in terms of who's where. A lot of them are pretty basic passes, but he, at the very least, having a role player who knows how to make those basic passes is a good thing. There's no detrimental part to his playmaking game. I don't think it's like otherworldly, but he can pass the ball.
Tell you what, I'm a sucker for bounce passes, so that back-to-back bounce pass and transition was just like, wow, what a set of eyes this guy has for passing. He's making the right reads. I think the transition playmaking is a little overrated in these compilations, just because it's like that's the obvious play, and once you get the guy to commit, you make the pass. Like, I'm not an athlete. I'm not skilled with the ball, but I can get the guy to commit to me and then find my teammate. Like, everybody that is on the floor should be able to do that. The ones where he's making good reads, passing out of a jump shot, hitting the guy with a pocket pass on the drive to the cup, that's a little bit different. That's the more impressive stuff, and I can get excited about that. Like, even here, like,
it's fine.
The top of the key passes are just kind of part of the offense. It's not like he made 1-2 reads and hit the third option as the defense was rotating, as we see in some of these prospects. But you can't complain about what you're seeing. He's doing what he's supposed to do in these situations.
Exactly. He can pass. It's just nothing crazy. He was only 0.7 turnovers a game, but also he was 1.1 assists per game. Like, he wasn't a passer. He was there to shoot the ball, to score the ball sometimes, and play defense. And we can look at the defense too, because I think that's what a lot of people are excited about when it comes to Drake Powell.
All right.
He is a freak athlete.
Like, good verticality. Wow. Okay.
He's a freak athlete. Like, that's part of what you get. I think the good part about Drake Powell is he's going to be a really good wing defender, a la Jordan Walsh, a la Adu Thiero, but he also has some hope of an offensive game. Like, there's significantly more hope offensively, in my opinion, for a guy like Drake Powell than there was for Jordan Walsh, and like than there is, in my opinion, at least, for like a guy like Adu Thiero.
I definitely like his burst to the blocks. He gets off the ground fast, is a good rim protector in that sense on the help. Good recovery there on the drive, keeping the guy in front of him. I almost feel like they should have put this first. Like, they should rank the skill sets for these prospects. So if the guy is really known for playmaking, then you just see a bunch of the passes and reads first. If they're a knockdown shooter or scorer, that's the first thing, defense first for a guy like Drake Powell, because we can watch highlights all day, but knowing what set of highlights was the most consistent staple of their impact is the important part.
Yeah, Drake Powell, for context, 6'5", 0.25 without shoes at the combine, 7 foot flat wingspan. So pretty good.
Yep.
Pretty good. 8'7" standing reach, weighed in at 200 pounds. So he's definitely skinny, but he's a freak athlete. Like that. This is what he does. He is a great wing defender. He's probably going to be a great wing defender in the NBA. The question is just, can the shot become consistent? Can he smooth out the form a little bit to the point where he's comfortable taking the shots? Because there is a part of me that worries that he looks a little uncomfortable taking threes right now, which is not a good thing.
Yeah, it takes him a while to get into the shot too. Like, if you're thinking of an NBA kick out and the defense going into rotation, there might not be a whole lot of time for Powell to be comfortable in his shot. He might still get it off, but it might be rushed, and it might lead to him shooting a lower percentage with guys closing out.
he almost prefers to drive and then make something happen from there, which is not ideal. But it's not like the end of the world. I'm just saying, like, that's, you look at it and you're like, just shoot the ball.
Yeah, that's a big muscle memory thing. I feel like I mean, when you play basketball and you do like
Look
a
at Tillman.
between the legs before you shoot the ball, and then
Look at
you
Tillman.
feel way better about it.
like Tillman is not used to shooting, and he said that on the record. He's like, yeah, it's a weird thing. Like, I'm not used to shooting the ball, so I don't shoot the ball. Look what happened. I'm not saying Drake Powell's going to beat Tillman, but it is a very clearly a mental thing that can happen to people who are not used to shooting the ball consistently.
Jack's draft,
but then again,
Xavier Tillman.
No, but then again, like, look at Derek White. Like, Derek White wasn't a shooter early on in career, but he learned how to, like, fake the confidence at the very least. So there are, cases for both things. I do think the problem, or not the problem, but like, Drake Powell will have to learn, and it will be a sink or swim if whether or not he can be a consistent fire the catch and shoot three. But the defense is very clearly there. And having a wing defender of this type, of this caliber, who is at least a capable offensive player, could be valuable for the Celtics.
I just think, and we'll get to the tier list after we look at the draft comps from sleepers, but there are just other guys that are projected to be on the board that I would feel better about the Celtics picking in terms of being ready to help them than Drake Powell.
Sure. I get that 100%. We can look at sleepers, what they think. I think a lot of people are high on Drake Powell. I think he's, a very much a draft community darling at the moment. Strengths, athleticism, shooting, defensive potential, mid-range game. Weaknesses, playmaking, defending the interior, and shot creation. All right. One word, precipice and upside. People love the upside of Drake Powell because I think he didn't really get the chance to show it as much at UNC, which is a decent swing. One for floor, one for ceiling. I think a lot of people would really bank on the shot creation coming around. Heat and Hawks are the top best team fits. I think the Heat, I like the Heat a lot for him. Get him a little opportunity to create. 5 years bench starter. Most likely to be on breakout list, but never break out. Get Hubert Davis fired. Let's see. What's next? Is next best case, worst case? All right, yeah. Let's look at best case, worst case for Drake Powell according to sleepers.
Painful. Can we move on to the next category?
Best case scenario, best case comp.
Jonathan Givony was comparing him to this player, like going back to the last summer. He compared him to Herb Jones, and I think a fully realized Drake Powell is like a lockdown defender who can also handle and create for others and make the most of his athleticism and like get to the free throw line. All of that. That is like if Drake hits his maximum ceiling offensively.
Yeah, I like that much better than mine. I had Jalen Williams. I had J-Dub for the Thunder. Really good defender, but a guy who I think has shown more off the bounce wiggle and creativity than Powell has shown. I think that may be in there, or at least could be developed with Powell, given the athleticism that he has shown. Right.
I like that. And then worst case we see is
Worst case, I stuck with another Tar Heel one and done who had all the athletic tools but never put it all together. Nasir Little.
Okay. I went with so Justice Winslow would have been a good one, but I wanted to bring him up earlier, so I did not put Justice Winslow. I went with Zaire Smith.
Yikes. I see it for both though. Like the wing who can't really shoot, but maybe can shoot and then can't shoot. Really good defender. Great athlete. I like Drake Powell a little more. I think he'll be better than Zaire Smith. I think at least you have the defensive tools. Like Zaire, in my mind, Zaire Smith was never like an amazing defender. Nas Little, I get a little bit more, and he could just never figure it out offensively. But the question now becomes, Sam, where do you want to put Drake Powell on the tier list? We have the tier list here. We have one S tier. We have two A tiers, B tier, C tier, D tier. I'm stuck between two, and I think I know where I'd put him, but I'll let you go.
I think I would put him on the B tier. I'm not like floored by this. I have not watched as much Drake Powell as the people in the video that just told you that they kind of have some hope for him. Good comparisons in Herb Jones and J-Dub, right? But from what I saw, I just don't see a lot of translation into how he could be a great fit with the Celtics right away, or how much opportunity there's going to be for him within the Celtics team. But he is only 19, so I guess you can talk yourself into the upside there. I just don't know if you want to use I mean, you might even have to trade up for him. So I don't even know if you want to trade up for a guy that's just upside. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like
Unless
the goal for Boston has to be just hitting.
unless you're really willing to buy into developing him as the shot creator / shooter. Like if you're going to give him those growth minutes, then I get it a little bit. I think in terms of just a prospect, I would have put him A or even S tier compared to the guys here. But for the Celtics, I think B tier makes a lot more sense. I think Rasheer Fleming, Danny Wolf, and Thomas Sorber have a much more concrete pathway to fitting in with this current Celtics group. And if anything, I think Drake Powell could run into the Aaron Nesmith wall in Boston, where it's just too many guys and you're not going to get the opportunities you sort of need to succeed. And Aaron Nesmith could actually be a pretty good comp for Drake Powell. Except Aaron Nesmith was a much better collegiate shooter. I think that's fine. I feel good. I think as a prospect, he's a lot better than the three guys in the B tier next to him. But I think specifically, since this is a Celtics scouting for the Celtics, I think it makes sense to put him where it is. But anyways, let us know what y'all think down below about Drake Powell. Keep leaving us comments of who to look at. We have plenty of time for the draft. We have 2 weeks. I'm sure we'll start ramping these up even more till then. But appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and all that. Sam, take it up.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you leave a like, comment, tell us what you think of Drake Powell. Tell us how wrong or right you think that we are about Drake Powell. And subscribe to the channel for more draft content in the coming weeks, as well as all the other stuff we're doing. New stuff comes out every day at 5 a.m. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. During the season, we do game recaps morning after each game. And other videos are up in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can find the two of us on Spotify and Apple too. All pods and recaps are there. So if you just want those, go ahead and follow. They will go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very, very much. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. If there are prospects you would like us to look at, go ahead, send them in, hbtcpod@gmail.com. Our socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter is Jack's One NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.
Taco. Come on. Taco's having some fun here.